YouTube Francs, welcome back to another video, this time taking a deeper dive into the upcoming 2.6 artifacts being released with the Chasm. With Ayato arriving very shortly in the first half of 2.6, we can expect one of these artifact sets to provide him with a nice boost. However, is it worth over the standard Heart of Depth set released way back alongside Dragonspine? This will be coarsely covered with some average gameplay estimations. We will also cover who in the roster can use any combination of these artifacts and juxtapose the value over their existing sets. You can already see that I have Xiao and Yoimiya enjoying the video, which I believe are some of the biggest benefiters of this dungeon. Before I dive in, I want to mention something I feel is crucial info going forward with these artifact sets. At the end of the day, we're going to have a multitude of artifact options the more domains that are released. Artifacts are going to continuously be more and more restrictive to specific character builds. So you can view these as potential quote endgame 4-piece setups that you would build into over time for your favorite characters. This balances with previous suggestions that I've made when considering domains for resin efficiency. We will balance discussion with this in mind. Let's begin. First off though, general overview of stats you can see here from the 2.6 livestream. Vermilion Hereafter, or Vermilion set for short, grants 18% attack for 2-piece, which is identical to Gladiator, Shimenawa's, and the other set. 4-piece. After activating Elemental Burst, active character gains an effect that first grants plus 8% attack for 16 seconds. I believe that with this effect active, which is called Nascent Light, whenever the active character's HP starts to decrease, attack increases by 10%, stacking up to 4 times. This can proc once every 0.8 seconds, and the total buff comes to 48% from the 4-piece. With the 2-piece, this should be 66% attack. This effect is removed when leaving the field and starts from 0 when the Elemental Burst is activated again. So I made sure to be a little bit more thorough in explaining this passive because it's much more specific than you might think. It's a passive effect that activates post-burst, and then it needs to stack for maximum value, and then it's removed when either the character is swapped out or the burst is reactivated, or obviously the duration is over. You can see what I mean when I said earlier that newly released artifacts may be strong but super build specific. Alright, moving on to the second one, Echoes of an Offering, or Echoes set for short. It grants 18% attack for a 2-piece, which is identical to, what we just explained, those artifacts. 4-piece set is a pseudo RNG normal attack booster. Simplified completely, this artifact basically says when you are normal attacking, some of your normal attack hits are Shenhe or Yunjin buffed. This artifact set provides the normal attack ammo buff based on the active character's attack. So as I just mentioned, I feel like this set is an extension of the recent released Shenhe and Yunjin builds where they provide additional raw damage ammo, and that ammo can be amplified by the current character's crit damage and other additional damage modifiers like normal attack, physical, or elemental damage bonus. So how often does this proc? Well, I think depends on the wording, but I think it is safe to assume 20% is a raw increase, meaning 36% the first time, then 56, then 76, then 96. If it's not this way, then it'll proc a lot less frequently, and the artifact is what I would say is dead on arrival. So I think it's safe to say that anywhere between 0.25 seconds to 0.85 seconds per proc. That takes into account the 0.2 and also when the effect is dispelled after a normal attack deals damage. So average expectation, I would say, is the 0.6 mark, which is at a 76% chance, which is on average 2/3 of a second for each proc. Worst case, you'll do it every second. Interesting about this artifact set is that it's stronger the more attack buffs that you have to your character. For example, Bennett buff, Noblesse, and Tenacity, because this artifact set uses the active character's attack. Then, it'll use the active character's crit damage and normal attack percent boost to give the final increase. This is identical to how Shenhe and Yunjin's ammo works. So both of these sets I think are pretty self-explanatory when it comes to which characters can use them. For those that have already dedicated farm sets for those characters, I'll give an example. Xiao for the Vermilion set, and then Yoimiya, or the upcoming Ayato for the Echo set. It's really a matter of, do you want to refarm an entire 4-piece set for a mini DPS gain? Now this would seem outrageous to newer players who are extremely resin hungry, but once you get to the point where you're cruising and just want to squeeze out every last drop of DPS, then that's where this comes in. That being said though, this Artifact Dungeon's 2-piece are both 18% attack. Just like the Inazuma dungeon, which had 18% attack and 20% recharge from Shimenawa's and Emblem, this dungeon also has a pretty universal 2-piece combination. With this being released, we now have a lot of 18% attack 2-pieces, and I want to reiterate that yes, they are all interchangeable and identical. Gladiator, Shimenawa's, Vermilion, Echoes, they're all the same. Alright, let's dive into specific characters. So, the Vermilion set. This one I would say is fairly specific and only one character can really make use of it on command, Xiao. The first artifact set that truly synergizes with his design top to bottom, and better late than never I suppose. This artifact set requires someone who first activates their burst and then continuously loses HP at set intervals for maximum value. Xiao fits the build nearly perfectly, with his burst sacrificing his HP every second. After 4 seconds, Xiao during burst gains maximum value for this artifact. Compared to his usual build of either 2-piece Viridescent 2-piece attack percent or a double attack percent, this set gains 28% to 66% attack over the course of his burst, where old combinations would provide either 15 Animo and 18% attack, or 36% attack from double 2-piece sets. This is stronger by a pretty significant margin, I would say at least 15%, but requires refarming an entire 4-piece set with proper crit substats. Now the other character that people have thought about using this artifact set is Hu Tao. Sorry to say, this set makes little sense with Hu Tao. Hu Tao's burst is usually used at the end of her HP conversion state, and also the only time where she can forcefully sacrifice her HP is with her elemental skill, which is technically used before the burst. So this set is a complete no-go for Hu Tao. So that brings us back to Xiao. In my opinion, there's really no other character that is designed for this artifact set other than him. Sure, every character that begins their rotation with their elemental burst can technically use it, but this would involve you purposefully trying to take damage at set intervals to maximize this artifact. It's a little counterintuitive in my opinion. Specific niche though, now that we mentioned that, Corrosion. So Corrosion actually assists with the procs of this set. As long as you have dedicated healers to maintain health pool, this is possible. It's a little strange though, since it's reliant on your enemies rather than your own character build. Now for the Echo set, any normal attacker can really use it. The upcoming Ayato, Yoimiya, Tartak, official main DPS, Razor, and even Eula. It is an RNG set within an RNG game though. If you're okay with that and more gacha, then by all means. This artifact set does have a pity feature, so don't worry. So for Ayato, this set will probably synergize near perfectly with his design. Based on the 2.6 livestream demonstration, during his elemental skill where you'd be activating the most normal attacks, they seem to fire at pretty rhythmic set intervals, matching the cooldown proc of the Echo set. I would anticipate the set being on average stronger than Heart of Depth for this particular playstyle, and only gets stronger the more attack buffs are provided to him. Tartag is in a similar boat, both of them being Hydro DPS. However, in my opinion, Tartag's charge attacks are equally as important, which do not get buffed by the Echo set. So in most natural rotations for Tartag, I would say that this set is fine, but not an instantaneous upgrade over Heart of Depth. Same comparison for Shimenawas and Tartag. If you are a charge attack spammer, this set is not too much of a benefit. How about Yoimiya or Fischl, our bow main DPSers? If played as main DPS style, they are purely reliant on normal attack, which makes this set an upgrade. For Yoimiya specifically, she's often paired with Bennett for his attack buff and Pyro Resonance, which further strengthens the value of this set on her. This set is a definitive upgrade over Shimenawas for Yoimiya, but I would say still unclear versus Crimson, which provides that valuable Vaporize increase for Vaporize Yoimiya gamers on the 1st, 4th, and 7th auto of her sequence. I generally don't play Crimson Yoimiya that much though, so if I had spare resin, I would be okay refarming this Echo set for her. Bow users are also generally fast attackers and make good value of the low cooldown of the Echo set, which is 0.2 seconds per proc. Then, for our Claymore gamers, Razor and Eula, I would say the value is diminished quite heavily. The go-to of Pale Flame and Bloodstained, or 4-piece Pale Flame for the 50% physical damage is a staple, and pretty tough to beat. Not only that though, Claymore autos are generally much slower and unable to make full use of the timing that Echoes requires for maximum viability. That being said though, Razor suffers less from this with his innate attack speed increase from his Elemental Burst activation, but Eula I would say stick to the older combinations of Pale Flame Bloodstained. I think that higher end Razor investments can see good use from this set, but not significant enough over Pale Flame Bloodstained. So generally for this set, fast normal attackers that fit into the 0.2 second cooldown proc will make the maximum value from this artifact. And I think that wraps up most of my thoughts on these new 2.6 artifacts. If you guys enjoyed the video, don't forget to like and subscribe. Check me out on Twitch if you like, link in the description. I will probably dump some resin into this dungeon, hoping for a solid Echo set to try out on Ayato and Yoimiya. Thanks as always for watching, and I'll catch you gamers on the next video. Take care.